Hey, this is Tony raising hope with forgiveness. And if you missed the meeting last Friday, we're so sorry you couldn't join us, but we're going to host again. I'm hoping that Lesley's going to join again as she did last week, and we can have those conversations about our healing journeys and share some really positive stories. I just want to put this out there because this is not just for carers. This is for carers and anyone who's suffering with the cancer diagnosis right now. Really, really important, crucially important that you build in that mind, body and soul approach to your healing. So, for example, Lesley and I have been watching the Eastern medicine clips from Ty and Charlene Bollinger at The Truth About Cancer, and they're unfolding the story as they visit 7 countries in 7 days. An incredible journey, an incredible story, and some unbelievable insights into alternative ways of healing cancer. One of the key things that they talk about, and certainly the patients that have had really good results, they've talked about mind, body and soul, about things like bringing in gratitude and healing and getting rid of fear with forgiveness and gratitude. So important that we touch all those aspects of this particular holistic healing path. Some people are doing it with allopathic remedies, which is absolutely fine. That's your personal choice. Some people are doing things without those particular options and doing really, really well. So I invite everybody to come in and join us. But if you're feeling a little bit resistant, maybe the word forgiveness kind of drums up some kind of emotional connection to it, and you think, what am I doing with this? How can I forgive cancer? How can I forgive the people that have done this to me? How can I forgive the people that have said this about this particular drug or this particular supplement, or I did this and it didn't work out right? Who am I supposed to forgive? Get all that. This is all about resolving those emotions. Those emotions, if you carry them, will just end up as real baggage, and they will get in the way of your healing journey. That much I can guarantee. So what do we want to give you this opportunity to let go of some of that stuff, to breathe through it, and to feel uplifted as a result of that process. I can give you an example. When I'm going about my daytime and something's really triggering, when I notice it, first of all, that's the first trick. You've got to notice that you've been triggered, right? Because if you don't, you're just going to carry on screwing up. So I notice that I'm being triggered, and I say to myself the 4 words that are there on the screen. It's recognize the issue and say, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. And maybe repeat it 2 or 3 times, maybe 4 or 5 times if that's what it takes. And instantly I feel this lift as the emotion just kind of settles. And instead of being angry, instead of staying in that triggered zone, you can come back to a more focused, a more controlled, and get back into a consciousness in the moment, in a present state. So it's more effective. It's going to help your personal development no end, and it'll certainly help your healing, whatever route you're doing. So I wanted to share with you some myths about forgiveness, just so we can blow these out of the water right now before you even think about connecting and joining us this Friday. By the way, it's Friday at 7:30. We're going to start at 7:30, so please jump on. There'll be a meet and greet session, and we will be talking about what's been going on, what's strong, what's not so strong, and how we're feeling and what we want to let go of, what our intentions are. We'll be setting the intention, and we'll be kicking off, roughly 8 o'clock, and it's maybe 5 or 10 minutes just to read through that prayer and sit with that for a few moments. And then we'll share ideas as we've completed, and then that's the end of the session. So it's around about an hour, and it doesn't matter if it goes on a little bit longer. We're okay with that. So that's what we're expecting. So anyway, let's get back to that story about the 7 myths of forgiveness. Now, the first one, myth 1, you forgive and forget. Now, sometimes people, it kind of, it's like peeling off that scab. You think, no, I don't really want to do. I don't really want to go down that route because I don't want to forget what happened. So you'll avoid forgiveness. Now, the trouble with that is you're carrying on that grief, that suffering that the event caused, and you're carrying it with you. So forgiving is absolutely not the same as forgetting. Let me give you an example. If you're driving on in the car and you're driving on a road, Maybe it's a road that you've traveled down lots and lots, and all of a sudden overnight there appears this momentous pothole and your wheel goes into it and you go, you feel it. And I don't know, maybe you've got alloys on the car, or maybe you've just had the brakes changed or the suspension, and now bang, you hit that pothole. You go, man, and all these emotions will be drummed up. Now, it's nobody's fault that the pothole appeared. So, well, anger's not going to serve you anything. So we can turn around and we can think about everything that we had to play out for that pothole to occur. Maybe it was down to a little bit of a bad mix in the tarmac. Maybe it was the weather. Maybe it was something else. But we can stop and just say, something's occurred. There's a lesson. There's a trigger. I'm going to forgive. I'm going to use this opportunity to practice Ho'oponopono, Ho'oponopono, Ho'oponopono. There's loads of different ways to pronounce it. You choose whatever works for you. 4 phrases. Think about the pothole. Think about the damage. There's nothing you can do about it. You can't rewind it. Even reversing over the pothole ain't going to make a better difference. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. Does that mean you forget the pothole was there? No, because if you do that, guess what's going to happen? Tomorrow you're going to drive down the same street and stick your car down the same pothole. Forgiveness is absolutely not the same as forgetting. Myth number 2. Giving forgiveness is negating the wrongdoing. Well, it's a little bit similar to what we've just been talking about. You're not going to forget it. And it's certainly not going to justify the wrongdoing. So I know people that have been through some horrific experiences as victims of crime, or in accidents, or in all kinds of awful situations that they found themselves in. Being diagnosed with cancer is one of those. When you look at wrongdoing in particular, forgiveness does not negate the wrongdoing, but what it does do, it removes the emotional heat that is attached to that memory. So when you have that memory and it drives that heat, that energy, that anger, that frustration, they're negative vibrations that are going to really close down anything. You're bringing in the adrenaline, you're bringing in cortisol, you're moving that system that you really don't want when you're going through that healing journey. So we want to calm those. We want to soothe those. We're not going to justify the wrongdoing. It's not going to make it right. It just means you're going to think about it differently, which also has a secondary benefit, because if these things keep happening and you keep getting triggered, well, that's also going to keep you in a stuck state too. So why not shift it? You just shift it now. Shift it from this point onwards. That trigger will not fire up the same way for you, because you're adding the coolant right now, right here, right now in that moment when you say, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, I'm grateful. I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, I'm grateful. And just repeat that with whatever it was. You're not justifying the wrongdoing. It will always be wrongdoing, but you're changing how you feel about it. You're changing your emotional response. Myth number 3. With forgiveness, the relationship's going to be restored. Well, I've heard this so many times in relationship coaching, when somebody's had a breakdown or a fallout. And not all breakdowns lead to breakups, by the way. We know that. And actually, breakdowns can often be the thing that makes the relationship stronger. And we're not necessarily talking about that. Forgiveness occurs at the internal level. It is not external. It's not a gift you're giving somebody else. It's a gift that you're giving yourself. Now, that doesn't mean anything is going to happen in the relationship. It just means that you are going to approach that differently. You are going to be in a better, stronger, more calm mindset than you were before, because you've allowed yourself to spend a moment in forgiveness. Myth number 4. Forgiveness heals time. Now, this is an interesting one, because The phrase "time is a great healer" is always known to most people have heard that phrase. But forgiveness can enhance that. But it doesn't give you any more time. It doesn't buy you any more time. It doesn't buy you any benefits other than the healing. So the time that it takes to heal something, an emotional debt, will be improved with forgiveness, but it won't change everything. So some wounds may last a lifetime, whatever those wounds are. And this is not about discussing those things. And, it's certainly not about having a psychological assessment or going through a session trying to therapeutically remove any blocks or anything like that. Some can be really traumatic. Some trauma can be really troubling. But the idea with using tools like forgiveness is to move through the trauma to start coming towards the place of growth that allows you to be and allows you to grow. Myth number 5. Forgiveness will be accepted by the offender. Well, what do you think? We're not doing this as a gift to them. So if we give them forgiveness, does that mean they change towards us? Well, actually, at the quantum level of consciousness, you might experience subtle changes. If there's a particular issue or a particular person that there's been some emotional debt, some emotional energy exchange, when you go through a process of forgiveness that relates to that particular individual, there might be a quantum connection. And very frequently people will report that there's been some kind of a reconnection with an individual after going through such a process. But this absolutely does not rely upon, it is not intended to generate, it is not in any way, shape or form for the offender's benefit. So it's not going to change them, it's only going to change you. And that's what matters most. Myth number 6. With forgiveness, the offender will repent. No, it ain't going to work. It ain't going to happen. Forgiveness is the gift you give yourself. It doesn't mean all debts are done. It means your debts are done. And myth number 7, the last one. In order to give forgiveness, you have to feel it. Well, actually, you won't even know what you feel until you let go of something. When you're carrying that baggage, it's like, those people that have done that flight to Frankfurt. I've been there with a wheelchair and a rucksack and a bag and a phone and something else and trying to wheel through, particularly on the way home, where it's absolutely crazy. And the moment that you get to the airport and you can sit and put everything down, just put the baggage down and take it off your shoulders, you just go, that's amazing. This works in a very similar way, except it's just emotional baggage that you're carrying. So when you say, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, I'm grateful, it's a way of putting that emotional baggage down, putting it down on the floor and letting it go. You can pick it up again anytime soon, but hopefully you're going to feel differently when you pick it up, when you've had a rest. Give yourself a break. Just build in that time for yourself to put your mind on something inside that needs to be cured, that needs to be healed, that needs to be loved, that needs to be shown attention. You might not feel anything at all, and that's absolutely fine, because forgiveness happens over time. You might feel in the moment, a thought might occur to you. Aha, that's it. That's what I was supposed to get, which changes everything. So let's hope that sitting with forgiveness for around about an hour or so with Lesley and I, and whoever wants to show up, maybe that will be the key for you. Maybe this will change the outcome for you, and at least you'll have a lovely weekend when you can sit and rest and be calm and not worry about anything that's going on around you, just focusing on yourself. So we invite you. We'll look forward to seeing you there. Give us a shout. Drop us a message on Facebook and tell us that you're interested. If you've got any questions, reach out, ask us. But this is not just for carers. This is for everybody. And this is our gift. It's completely free. We're not charging for this. This is just people joining our story and having a moment that we can share. We know these tools work on the emotional level. We know absolutely they work on the emotional level. And if we can make changes emotionally, maybe that can help make changes physically and support whatever protocol you're particularly working with at the moment. So there you go. God bless you. We hope you want to join us for Raising Hope with Forgiveness. And we'll see you soon. Take care. Bye. Mwah.